Sri Sai Ram. Hearty welcome to Sri Sathya Seva Gurukulam online classes in science. And we are in a very interesting chapter, force and pressure. So, where and all you use the word force. Sometimes the parents also force to do homework, correct? Sometimes your teachers also force you to do work. Is it force? Yes, of course, it is not a physical force, it is a mental force. And sometimes parents will force you to score very high marks comparing with others. That is not good actually. One should not compare the others. Each soul is potentially divine, says Swami Vivekananda. So, all should try in their own way. Okay. Now, this force and pressure are interrelated words. Let us just recall what you have studied in the previous class. What is force? Force is something which applies to a body to push or pull. Is it not? Suppose you push a body, we say force is applied, or pull a body, again it is a force. And examples of force, now you are sitting there. Suppose you have got a book there in front of you. You will lift the book. We say force is applied. Is it not? Sometimes you can leave it in the top. It also falls. That is again a force. What is that force called? Gravitational force. And two magnets brought near, either they repel each other or they attract. Is it not? That is what type of force it is? Magnetic force. Correct? And two charged bodies are brought near. There may be repulsion if the like charges come. If the unlike charges come, it will be attraction. Again, it is called electrostatic force. We lift a very heavy object, that is muscular force. Is it not? And you are going to bowl, it is a muscular force again. Correct? So, it is something which pushes or pulls the objects. And what are the effects of force? The force will change the state of motion. If you are driving a four-wheeler, if you press the accelerator, again a force that makes the vehicle to go faster. If you press the brake, the vehicle stops. So, what does it do? It changes the state of motion. To give a simple example, you are going, suppose a dog comes in between. You apply the brake, correct? So, what happens to your speed? It cuts down. And when you are coming to a down, you need not pedal there. You will move so fast there. Enjoy. And who helps you there? That is gravitational force. So, it changes the state of motion and changes the shape of an object. Yesterday we discussed preparation of chapati. How many know preparation of chapati? Yes, you take some wheat flour, add some oil and some quantity of water plus this salt and all. Then what do you do? You apply force. Is it not? And it's called duff. So, apply force. So, what happens to that? That will mix up so nicely oil, water and salt and all. Then you roll it into cylindrical shape. Then you cut into small pieces. So, what happens there? The shape of the object is changed. correct? When you sit on a cycle seat, it was full before you are being seated. When you sit on that, it becomes pressed. So the shape changes, correct? So that is the effect of force. There are two types of forces. In general, one is called contact forces. For example, muscular force. The other day we discussed about weightlifting. What does the weightlifter do? He will come there, use all his strength and lift that rod to which the weights are connected and lift it up. So what is the force acting there? Muscular force. It is called contact force because you must catch it. Suppose you carry a bucket of water, you must catch the bucket, correct? And also you have studied about friction. So a ball, for example, when you are bowling a ball, and what happens to that? The batsman hits it, and after hitting, the ball goes on the ground to some distance and stops. Why does it stop? Because of friction. And also you might have seen the athletics, 100-meter race, 200-meter race. How many have participating? Okay. There they use sports shoes. What type of shoes it? It has grips in that. And sometimes there will be some kind of nails also in between, below it. Why it is? Just to have more grip so that they can run fast. And what does that do? That will create more friction. So if the friction is there, then they can run fast. So, and friction is something very important. For example, if you are in your house, the floor will be very nice, made up of some tiles, right? But in bathroom, it will be usually stones there. And there it should be little rough there, because water will fall on that. You are using soap also while taking bath, so there should be rough there. You call it granite sometimes. And what does it do? It will create some friction so that you will not fall, correct? Whereas in your halls or in the main halls and all, there is no much friction because there is no water there. So it has got both advantages and disadvantages also. Is it not? See, in the playground they will grow grass there. It is very soft in nature and its friction is less. Suppose there is no grass, there are a lot of stones are there, that will have disadvantage. The movement there will be difficult. Suppose you fall, you get hurt. Whereas if grass is there, even if you fall, you will not be hurt, correct? So friction has got both advantages and disadvantages. Okay. Now let us see the home assignments. State any 4 effects of force. What are the effects? First one, a force can make an object move from rest. Is it not? Suppose there is a ball, you give a force to it, and of course many of you enjoy playing this toy car. So just turn the key of that. What does the toy will do? Starts moving. So the body which is at rest starts moving when a force is applied. And secondly, it changes the speed of an object. Just now I was telling about that. When you apply accelerator, the speed increases. When you apply a brake, the speed decreases to 0. So the speed is changed. It may change the direction of motion of an object also. Suppose the bowler has bowled now and it is coming from, say, let us say east to west, and what does the batsman do? He will see the line of the ball and hits it up. So when he hits it up, the direction changes, is it not? The speed may also change, direction also change. So direction of motion also changes. In volleyball, for example, the serviceman will give a service to go to the next court, and they will, what do they do? What do that offenders do? They give a lift to it. So by that what happens? By that direction of motion changes, and he will give correct placement also. Whenever the fielders, whenever the players there is no place, when there is place between the two players, there only puts it up. That is a technique. So it changes the direction of motion. Also bring about a change in shape of an object. So shape, for example, if you blow a balloon and tie it in the mouth of the balloon with a thread and press it. When you press, it means application of force. When the force is applied, the shape of the balloon is changed. Have you observed it? Okay. So these are the effects of force. Now next question. Give 2 examples of muscular force. You can give many examples from starting from morning to night. We will be doing lot of services with muscles. Muscular means is a noun form of muscles. And how many muscles are there in our body? Around 630. So be grateful to God who has created all of us. Do not. If the muscles are not there, not even a small work we can't do. We can't do that. For every action, even the eyebrows, closing your eyes, there will be a muscle there behind it that makes it so. Is it not? So wherever and whenever you go, you find muscles. So lifting a bucket requires muscles. Pushing a table, again muscular force applies. Then like that you can go on listing out. Here they ask you only 2. What is friction? Give 2 examples of friction. Friction means opposes the relative motion between 2 surfaces in contact. It acts on both the surfaces. Earlier I was telling so when a friction takes place, say the ball which is hit by the batsman, it goes to some distance and stops there. Why does it stop? Because the relative motion between the 2 surfaces. One is the ball, another is the floor. So it is an opposing force. The ball wants to go to as long as possible until it reaches the four lines. But the floor will not allow. It stops there. So it opposes. Opposition for the given force is called as friction. So it may be in any type. Examples of friction: ball rolling on the ground and stopping, and scooter stopping when the engine is switched off. So scooter will be going. Suppose you stop the engine. What happens? It stops because of friction between tire and the road. They are the 2 surfaces. And boat comes to rest if you stop rowing it. So there, when you are rowing, that is by a wooden plank or wooden rod, you can say, with the water. So there is friction between the water and the row. That will be a friction, and that friction stops the movement of the boat. So, these are some of the examples. Now, today we will see some non-contact forces. This muscular force is a contact force, correct? Now, we will see some non-contact, where the two bodies are not connected to each other. For example, all of you know about magnets. Have you heard about magnet? Yes. Yes. Can you tell some properties? A magnet, when it is suspended freely, comes to rest in the north-south direction, because Earth itself is a huge magnet, and every magnet has got two poles called north and south. It attracts ion filings. It is called as non-contact forces. What does a magnet do? It can exert a force on another magnet without being in contact with it. So, the force exerted by magnets which are not in contact is called magnetic force. That is not seen, but it can be experienced. See, for example, magnet attracting ion filings. It is a very interesting one. You have seen it? You take a magnet and just in a heap of sand, you just vibrate. What happens? It attracts all the ion filings. That force cannot be seen, but it can see in action, that attracting ion filings. So, it is called as a non-contact process. Non-contact process, not contract, it is contact. Contact means touching. Here, the two surfaces do not touch each other. So, non-contact process. Whereas muscular force is a contact process. Lifting a weight is a contact process. Here there is no contact. To do a small experiment or activity, here are two magnets, okay, and there are three pencils attached to it by the help of a cellophane tape or something, just to make it interesting. And if you bring these are called bar magnet. There are different kinds of magnets: bar magnet, magnetic needle, compass needle, Mariner's compass, and so on. Horseshoe magnet. So, this is a bar magnet. Here, when a bar magnet is brought near suppose the two poles are of opposite direction, north pole and south pole, then opposite poles attract each other. So, this magnet, suppose this is north pole and this is south pole, they brought near each other, there will be attraction. The same way, suppose you bring both of the same poles, there will be repulsion. However much you try, they do not attract. That can be seen. So, what you can make out? Laws of magnet. So, observing attraction and repulsion between two magnets. So, two laws, LAWS. What is the first law? Unlike poles attract each other. Come on, repeat. Like poles repel each other. And unlike means what? If one pole is north, another is south, and vice versa. Suppose this is south and that is north. That is attraction. Whereas the same like means what? North and north or south, they are called like poles. So, this is an experiment to show the magnetic force. Why it is called non-contact? Here magnets are not contacted, they are at distances. That is why you call it as non-contact process. We will have one fun activity now, just to illustrate this. See, here are two magnets. What is this magnet called? Bar magnet. What is this N, S? N means North Pole, S means South Pole. So, if North is brought near South, what do you expect? Anybody? Yes, you expect attraction. So, suppose you bring, there will be attraction. Suppose you bring a North Pole near the North Pole of the other magnet. What do you expect? Yes, repulsion. They repel each other. And what type of magnet it is? This is called horseshoe magnet. Why it is called horseshoe? Because under the feet of the horses, they used to keep iron. Of course, it is steel actually, not iron, in the shape of this. That is why it is called as horseshoe magnet. Here you see NNSS is there. What do you expect? Because they are like poles, we say it is repulsion. Here a bar magnet is brought near a horseshoe magnet. Here S is brought near N, north. North is brought near South Pole. What do you expect? We expect attraction. Is it nice? Okay. So, what is the conclusion? Conclusion is, unlike poles attract each other, like poles repel each other. That is the conclusion. That is called law of magnets. Okay. And let us see some more like that. The second one, electrostatic force. So, it is something about electricity, and that type of electricity is static electricity. One beautiful experiment you can try. Here a balloon is there, charged balloon brought near a hair of a girl. What happens? The balloon attracts this hair. You can also try one more experiment. Take a comb. All of you seen comb? Of course, it is a compulsory, everybody will have a comb in your house. So, this comb, you just comb to your hair and bring near the paper pieces. What do you observe? It attracts. Is it not? Why does it attract? Because it becomes charged. When you rub it against the hair, it becomes charged. Here also it is charged, that is why it is coming. So, electrostatic force is the force exerted by a charged body on another charged or uncharged body. So, this is a charged body and this is uncharged body. So, when they are brought near, there will be attraction. Is it not? Again, when you say this, there will be two type of charges what you can observe. One is called positive charge, another is called negative charge. Who discovered this? Of course, it was there earlier also, now also, in future also. It was discovered by a Benjamin Franklin, a famous physicist. It is called kite experiment. Rainy season, he was playing in the kite, and of course, like all others, he also left a kite to the height, and instead of having a thread, how many know making kite and playing kite? All of you? Very good. So, there there will be thread there, and that thread he may replace it into a wire, thin binding wire. In the end of that, he tied a key bunch, and kite, it is also the frame of the kite. Usually they do with bamboo now. Earlier they used to do with metallic wires. So, metallic wire was there that was connected to a metallic thread. So, one day rainy season, there was a lot of thunder and lightning. Suddenly there was a shock, and of course he had shoes on his legs, but still he felt the shock. He was very interested. Oh, what is this? The shock came because the lightning which was there that transferred to the kite, it came to the wire, and because of the key bunch that is also metallic, he got the shock. Immediately started doing experiments on this, and the device is called electroscope. So here is one small experiment on that. Electrostatic force is a static force, and a plastic straw is cut into nearly 2 equal pieces. So this is a plastic straw here. 2 pieces are made out of it. One of the pieces is suspended from the edge of a table. So this is the edge of the table with the help of a piece of thread. So you want to put some cellophane tape, and the thread is tied to a plastic straw. Now the other piece of the straw is to be held in hand, and its free end is rubbed with a sheet of paper. So what you must do, you must rub it to the sheet of paper like this, and is brought near this. What do you observe? You observe that some change you will observe. The straw rubbed with paper attracts the other straw. So here this is the this is the straw which is rubbed with paper. When it is brought near the uncharged straw, there will be attraction. As you have seen in case of magnet, here also there is a law of attraction and repulsion. When 2 unlike charges come near, there will be attraction. When 2 like charges come near, there will be repulsion. Very important. They are called laws of electrostatic charges. Same thing. One more thing, experiment is, instead of charging this straw, we charge this. Now next, second case, the free end of the suspended piece of straw is rubbed with sheet of paper. So this is suspended piece, you rub it with the paper, and again the piece of straw that was rubbed earlier. So this is also rubbed, that is also rubbed, brought near the free end of the suspended straw. So when it is brought near it, what do you observe? We observe repulsion. What do you observe? We observe that the 2 straws repel each other, they go away from each other. In the previous case it was attraction, and now it is repulsion. So that is also a very important, a very interesting law here. That is called laws of electrostatic charges. So what do you conclude now? A straw is said to have acquired electrostatic charge after it has been rubbed with a sheet of paper. So that rubbing, even if you rub your hands, it becomes hot. In the winter season, in the rainy season, etc., we rub your hands, make your face warm, and what happens? You feel very comfortable, correct? Because of the electrostatic charge. And in night times, when you remove your shirt, especially turleen shirt or rayon shirt, when you remove it, some sound will come. You see some sparkles also. Have observed? There is again electrostatic charge. And suppose get fear or some terrifying things, your hair will become straight out of fear. Suppose you have stamped a snake, example, or you have seen some animal chasing you, all your hair becomes straight. That is because of the charges. Okay. So such a straw is an example of charged body. Okay. So the conclusion is the electrostatic force is another example of a non-contact force. So the charges transfer there without contact. Okay. And law of charges is like charges repel each other. Repel each other. And then unlike charges, now what do you mean like charges? Attract each other. Like means what? Like means same type. Suppose you have a plus, another plus, there will be repulsion. The forces will go away. Okay, similarly minus and minus, there will be repulsion. And unlike means what? Suppose you have plus and minus. For example, glass rod rubbed with silk. Glass rod is said to be positive, silk is said to be negative. There will be attraction. Similarly, ebonite rod with the wool, there also will be attraction. Okay, so this is called law of charges, which you are going to study later in a higher class. This is called a very important uncharged, or you can say non-contact force. Okay, some interesting facts now. Always there should be interesting facts. Greek philosophers noted that when a piece of amber was rubbed with cloth, it would attract pieces of straw. So, how this electrostatic came into existence? One I told about Benjamin Franklin. This is another interesting thing. Greek philosophers, they found that there will be attraction of pieces of paper. They recorded the first reference of electrical effects such as static electricity and lightning for 2500 years ago, not today or tomorrow. So, then only they recorded, especially lightning as a very thrilling experience of electrostatic charges. Lightning is a powerful and dangerous example of static electricity. As dangerous as lightning is, around 70% of people are struck by lightning survive. Temperatures in lightning bolt can be 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So, what a wonderful nature. By the way, do you know why that lightning take place? Yes, when clouds of different charges come near, say plus and minus come near, there will be transfer of the charges, and as the transfer of charges take place, lightning comes out with a high temperature from 50,000 to 1 lakh. Such a high temperature is produced. So, these are some interesting things about us. Shall we do some home assignment? Okay, first question, state the law of magnetic poles. The magnetic force and electrostatic force are called non-contact forces. Why? Third one, give two examples of electrostatic forces in daily life. Now, shall we see what Bhagwan Baba says? Okay, Bhagwan Baba Vacha. The whole world is one single tree. That is what is told in Upanishads. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Whole world. The different countries are branches. You say America, Africa, India, Pakistan, they are all like branches. Its root is God. God is the basis for all. Human beings are the flowers. In that tree, human beings are compared to flowers. Happiness is the fruit, and self-realization is the sweet juice therein. Suppose you think of an apple, there is a juice inside it, correct? That is self-realization. That means Baba says we have to realize our God inside us. Okay? That is the purpose of life, and what Vivekananda called it as Atmano Mokshartam Jagat Hitaya Cha. Serve others. And at the same time, you have to realize ourselves. Okay? So come prepared with the answers for the home assignments. Thank you.